some grim economic news tonight. There is no way around this. It's bad. The U.S. economy shrank 9.5% between April and June. That works out to an annual rate of 32.9%. And that is the largest quarterly drop in 70 years of collecting data, and a clear indication of how the coronavirus has decimated the U.S. economy. In addition, jobless claims in the U.S. grew to 1.4 million last week, another sign the recovery has stalled out.
Experts fear as many as 10 million jobs will be lost by the time this pandemic is over. And here is a look at how much things have changed in just a few months. In an April survey, 78% of the people questioned thought coronavirus job losses would only be temporary, but in a more recent survey by the same group, 45% of those questioned fear their job loss may be permanent. Now, if we look at the unemployment rate here in Georgia, since the middle of March, the Georgia Department of Labor says it has paid out more than $11 billion in state and federal unemployment benefits. And
economists say certain industries are more vulnerable than others. CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy has been talking to economists and recruiters. And so, Jamie, what are they telling you?
Well, Rick, they certainly say that it's not all bad, but we need to be wary. So the experts want us to know that we are certainly still in the middle of this pandemic hurricane that's happening at the moment, and it's businesses and people who can pivot and adapt that will weather this storm.
The week of July 13th, the Georgia Department of Labor says it paid over $1 billion in unemployment benefits, more than the $922 million issued over the past 3 years combined.
When we had Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans saw about 70,000 people file unemployment insurance for 1 week. This is Hurricane Katrina hitting every single major metropolitan area all at once for every week for the last 4 months.
A recent AP poll says nearly half the people who have lost their jobs believe those jobs are lost forever.
I think that movie theaters might never be coming back, whether it's movies, whether it's concerts or live events. I think that those kind of events might have a shelf life that isn't conducive to, a COVID era.
Now, economists say traditionally when the economy is doing so badly and people are losing their jobs, they look to waiting tables or bartending. But this time, that's not an option. But recruiters say it's not all doom and gloom for the unemployed.
When I think of folks in the hospitality industry, is they have either really good administrative skills or really good customer service skills, right? And that's a skill set that you can't teach somebody.
Now, a major factor of unemployment will be the next stimulus package that comes out. Now, it's not whether people can get unemployment checks, it's whether or not businesses will be able to get more loans from the government, therefore helping them survive, therefore creating the jobs people so desperately need. Live in Atlanta, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
Now, CBS 46 Pinpoint Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Just like I predicted, some beautiful colors in the sky tonight. You're taking a live look west towards Alabama. The sun is now set. It is dusk outside. It still feels beautiful and looks beautiful in the sky. 81 degrees at the airport, 78 in Athens. It was not too hot today, but in areas that didn't see rain, look at the difference. Still feels like 90 degrees in Rome. Still feels like 88 in Noonan. Meanwhile, 73 in Carrollton, 72 in Blairsville. So the rain that we've gotten the last couple of days has done really nothing but help cool things off. We haven't seen any severe storms through the week. It's just helped keep temperatures a little bit lower. Dew points are still in the low to mid 70s. That means the air feels tropical. The reason is because there is a tropical air mass in place. We're still seeing the remnants of Hurricane Hannah, which made landfall all the way in Texas last Saturday. The good news is that tropical moisture will move out tomorrow, so we're under mostly dry conditions now. That will be the case overnight. You can see conditions are much more unsettled up to our north in parts of the Ohio Valley. That's where there is a stationary front in place. And that will be really the boundary along which these thunderstorms pop up tomorrow. So there's a low risk for heavy rain tomorrow in the northern sector of our state, but the real storms will be located to our north. And because of that, we're going to hold on to low storm chances. So here is a look at your day tomorrow. You wake up to mostly cloudy skies, to partly sunny through the afternoon. We'll definitely see more sunshine tomorrow than we did today. And rain chances will be lower through the afternoon. We'll still get some of those tropical downpours here and there, but they won't be nearly as widespread as today. We could see a few strong thunderstorms tomorrow, possibly, mostly in the mountains through the early and late evening hours. But by tomorrow night, it'll be drying out. So here's a look at your Friday again. Dry through the first half of the day, isolated showers through the afternoon, perhaps a thunderstorm or two, but nothing that you really need to worry about. Tropical moisture, see all the blue over our state tomorrow? That moves out and much drier air moves in for the weekend, and that's going to bring us some really nice conditions. In fact, rain chances on Saturday are very low, only a 20% chance of showers, temperatures in the low to mid 90s. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be sunny outside. You can make some outdoor plans this weekend. We hold on to those dry conditions through next weekend. We don't really see scattered showers return until Tuesday of next week. Our dry conditions this weekend is a direct impact of Tropical Storm Isaias, believe it or not. I will have the most updated track of that storm, which is likely to be a hurricane, coming up at 9:30.
All right, thank you, Ella. Herman Cain has lost his battle with the coronavirus, and just ahead, a friend reflects on the man who ran for the Oval Office and never stopped working for the America he wanted to see. We'll be right back.
We have some sad news to report tonight. Former presidential candidate Herman Cain has died after battling COVID-19.
The 74-year-old Morehouse College graduate passed away today after spending weeks in the hospital with breathing difficulties. CBS 46's Brittany Edney spoke with some of his friends.
So tell me about this picture right here. Where's this from?
That photo was taken at the movie premiere of Herman's life.
Clayton County Commissioner DeMont Davis shares memories of the late Herman Cain, his friend of more than 15 years.
He was a man that loved his family, he loved God, and he loved, his wife. And they are hurting.
Cain was a prominent supporter of President Donald Trump. And while they were on opposite sides of the political spectrum, Davis says Cain was a cherished mentor.
We disagreed on a lot. We agreed on a lot. And I learned from him. He was a very wise and astute individual. He knew who he was.
Creating almost a ripple effect behind him as he encouraged others to guide rising generations.
He'd ask, who are you mentoring right now? Who are you talking to? Who are the young folks that you're bringing by? Always have to reach out and help, and that's what he was doing. He always reached out and wanted to be a help to someone.
And that's something to truly be remembered for.
I just hope and pray at the end of the day, when that book is closed and my story is read, that it will be enlightening to someone like his is.
Edney reporting there. Tonight, Florida has set a record for coronavirus deaths for a third consecutive day. 253 people have reportedly died in just the last 24 hours alone. And with the approach of a tropical storm, all of the state's testing sites are closed. Also tonight, the FDA commissioner says his agency may approve a vaccine within a matter of weeks. Well, there was not enough room for everyone who wanted to pay tribute to Congressman Lewis at Ebenezer Baptist Church today. When we come back, we'll take you outside the sanctuary. And this is some of the damage. We talked about that tropical storm. That's what's left behind. This is a hurricane season like no other. CBS 46 meteorologist Ella Dorsey looks at whether it could pose any threat to us. Coming up.
I do. It's all good. I won't hold it against you. I don't have a... You sure? Because there's one right there I can... I'll get it. No worries. I'll go get it. No problem. Thanks, Sean. Huh? I'm not reading a thesis. Just an intro and a tag.
We love John Robert Lewis. Come on, give God praise. Come on,
Ebenezer Baptist Church's senior pastor, the Reverend Raphael Warnock, eulogizing Georgia's 17-term congressman as a true American patriot. Speaker after speaker praised Lewis for preaching love and nonviolence as a means to achieve change and equality for all. But in his eulogy today, former President Barack Obama took a shot at his successor while bringing up the death of George Floyd and sending federal troops to respond to protesters.
Bull Connor may be gone, but today we witness with our own eyes police officers kneeling on the necks of Black Americans. John Lewis devoted his time on this earth fighting the very attacks on democracy and what's best in America that we're seeing circulate right now.
Well, while other politicians and dignitaries attended the service, people like you and me also showed up to pay their respects. CBS 46's Ashley Thompson shows us how Congressman Lewis was remembered from outside Ebenezer Baptist Church.
A final farewell to a civil rights hero.
He's a hero. I don't think he's just an American hero. I think he's a hero to the world.
I appreciate the fight for our freedom.
Although the public couldn't go inside Ebenezer Baptist Church, they watched Congressman John Lewis's memorial service right outside of it. The celebration of life ceremony was streamed on this large screen steps from the front door.
Without his good trouble, his sacrifices, there's no telling where we would be today.
Where would we be without the man who spent his life getting into good trouble?
There's not enough words to say how grateful I am for the Honorable Congressman John Lewis.
An emotional homegoing service for an icon. Nothing could keep these mourners from witnessing. Kimberly Johnson brought her kids.
I want them to know who he is. I make them watch videos, read books about him, because this is their history now.
The hot sun, the thick humidity, and the threat of rain, no problem.
Whether it rains, storms, or whatever today, I can sit here in a little bit of rain when he got his skull bashed in for rights.
The boy from Troy, who made it his life's mission to fight for racial equality, can now rest. The world he leaves behind forever indebted.
She said we don't learn about it in school, and I just want to know my legacy and get to stand up for my people and my color.
But to at least spend a moment to recognize a person who has done this selflessly for not just us, but for the whole world. And this is the very least I could do.
The crowd continued to grow throughout the service, and it was at its largest when President Obama was speaking. And the crowd really went through a range of emotions out here, laughing and crying, all of them, though, here to send off a hero. In Atlanta, Ashley Thompson, CBS 46 News.
History will remember the late congressman as a hero, of course. He wanted to be thought of as a person never afraid to stand up for change and cause what he liked to call good trouble.
And most importantly, John Lewis wished to spread this message to the younger generation. Asked during the ATL, she spoke with a longtime friend, congressional aide, and co-author of Lewis's comic book memoir, March.
That's right. When Congressman John Lewis died, he left behind a tremendous legacy. He also left behind a blueprint on how to fight for justice by embracing contemporary mediums to communicate his message of equality.
We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
A true embodiment of a superhero. From an early age, John Lewis laid his life on the line, not just for black people, but for all people who felt out of reach of the American dream.
But we want to be free now.
Lewis was young when he did so much. Perhaps that's why his message and mission resonate with this new generation.
It was about inspiring the youth.
Andrew Aiden worked with Lewis for 13 years as a congressional aide and co-author of March, a best-selling, powerful graphic novel about Lewis's own life and fight for equal rights.
So we would work on it at night. It was just this side hustle that we had.
The project started as a constant conversation about the movement, then transformed into a trilogy of comic books, becoming one of the first ever graphic novels adopted into classrooms. Another barrier broken.
If young people don't know it, then they won't understand the true power they have in America.
As new authors, the pair had to attend Comic-Con.
He was the one who wanted to cosplay. It wasn't like anybody gave him that idea. He was like, all these other people are dressed up. Why am I not dressing up?
John Lewis dressed in his superhero outfit. He wore a trench coat and a backpack, similar to the one he wore when he marched in Selma. Lewis led hundreds of kids through the convention hallways.
This is very moving. It reminds me of another period, but it's very moving to see all these young children.
Almost 60 years later, Lewis saw the rebirth of his movement. Protesters fighting for the same rights he fought for. Congressman Lewis's message was, keep going.
It's very moving. Very moving.
Because a superhero does the right thing, being an agent of change.
John Lewis was definitely a man for the ages. He got a concussion to change the consciousness of the United States, and you can't replace him, but you can be a little bit more like him. So make sure that you make the most of every single moment like he did. Fight for equality, for freedom, and march to the voting polls or to your mailbox. That's all for Ashton in the ATL.
Thank you.